Welcome, everyone, to Monday Morning Morons for December 10th, 2018. This week, let's begin with the future leaders of America. Student senators denounced Betsy DeVos's proposed Title IX changes without reading them. Pah! You don't need to read something to know you oppose it, do you? Betsy DeVos is part of the Trump administration. We don't need to read it to know Orange Man bad. A New Mexico student government moved to unanimously denounce the Trump administration's proposed Title IX changes, but reportedly did not even have time to go over the entire list of changes before the vote. The Associated Students of the University of New Mexico unanimously passed Resolution 15F, which officially denounced a set of changes to Title IX proposed by Department of Education Secretary Betsy DeVos during a November 28th meeting, the Daily Lobo student newspaper reported. The resolution, when passed, also urged UNM President Garrett Stokes to support the decision and issue a statement announcing the university's opposition to the changes. DeVos's proposed changes include urging schools to adopt a clear and convincing evidence standard for sexual assault cases and scrapping the preponderance of evidence standard. If enacted, the new rules would also impose a stricter definition of sexual harassment. While the resolution passed, the Daily Lobo reported that most of the senators involved in the vote did not have time to read the full list of changes. Individual senators reported their familiarity with the changes, using phrases ranging from "not the full thing" to "no generally," which is code for "I didn't read the shit at all, and I'm now ashamed of it because I know I should have, but I can't say that because I'm a narcissistic twat waffle who simply cannot admit that I might possibly have been wrong with my hasty bandwagon decision." The Daily Lobo interviewed several of the senators who voted on the measure. Of the senators interviewed by the student publication, only one of the senators and one of the three sponsors of the resolution, Rachel Montoya, said they had read the Title IX changes in full. Wanna bet they didn't read it either? When senators make a decision like this, they weigh the issue in many ways, including holding meetings with students, considering pertinent information as outlined in the resolution, reading contextual information from outside sources, like news outlets and relevant commentary, and, if applicable, consulting material directly, UNM student government spokesman Brendan Gray told Campus Reform. If applicable, huh? So they'll only bother to read the actual policy proposal Betsy made if it's applicable. Well, pardon my naivete, but what could possibly be more applicable to a resolution denouncing her proposed changes than reading her proposed changes? Future politicians here, to be sure. You can tell by the rhetorical choices, but look behind the baffling babble, and all he really said was, "We didn't read shit. We let the mainstream media talking heads tell us what to think." Senate President Becca Myers and Vice President Emily Wilkes, both of whom read the proposed changes in full, stood behind the decision of the senators. It's everyone's own prerogative to be as involved in politics as they want to be, Wilkes told the Daily Lobo. "I think they understand the connotations based on the descriptions that they were given before voting." Gray noted to Campus Reform that during the 2.5-hour meeting, senators said that they had consulted with the Title IX changes and discussed relevant parts, and that senators heard extensive comment from members of the University of New Mexico's campus who were well-versed on the issue. Additionally, ASUNM plans to work with university units to continue the discussion about Title IX changes through presentations and workshops, Gray said. Again, political speech and a nice try, but all you said was, "We didn't read it. We let other people tell us what to think, and we're too fucking lazy to bother forming our own opinions, so we just went with that." And these people imagine themselves as the future leaders of America. People who can't be bothered to even make up their own minds. They just let someone else do that for them. The future doesn't look good, folks. What's next, Bob? After University of North Carolina announces new Silent Sam facility, angry protesters take to the streets. You all remember Silent Sam, right? Old Sam here was the focal point for what became the infamous Charlottesville shit show, where a bunch of dumb shits paraded around saying stupid crap, and then more dumb shits showed up to complain about them and threaten the other dumb shits, yet thanks to the all-knowing talking heads on the mighty television screen, we all know that only one of those groups had any bad people in it. They spent a good week or so screeching at Trump because he had the audacity to condemn too much bigotry and hatred instead of just condemning the Nazis. You remember their message, right? Nazis are bad. Therefore, only Nazis are bad. Because that's how logic works for them, I guess. Anyway, back then, these protesters and their allies insisted that Silent Sam had no place on the UNC campus because his very presence promotes slavery and racism and etc., etc., etc. The opposition accused them of simply trying to erase history. The oh-so-clever progressives caught on to the tactic and suggested that Silent Sam should then be moved to a museum or something. He marks a piece of history, so he belongs in history. Well, the UNC plan, putting the statue in a new high-security history and education center on campus, will cost over $5 million to put together and then $800,000 per year to maintain, according to the Daily Tar Heel. This site most closely fits both the recommendation from the safety panel and the criteria established for relocation by the current monument law, Chancellor Carol Folt and Provost Robert Bluen said in a statement. Yep. UNC decided to accept the suggestion and made a plan to move Silent Sam to a history center. Problem solved, right? Of course not. Don't be ridiculous. By Monday evening, demonstrators were out in force denouncing the move. UNC senior Lisa Mason said UNC prides itself on diversity and inclusion, and having that statue on this campus obviously shows that it doesn't stand for diversity and inclusion. That statue stands for racism, the Confederacy, and basically keeping slavery on this campus. Just a few hours after the announcement to put Silent Sam in what's basically a fucking history museum, here come the protesters to yell, scream, and pitch a titanic hissy fit yet again because, as we said to begin with, this isn't about Silent Sam at all. It's about power. The power of the progressive mob to control literally everything. They got what they wanted, the statue was removed, but now they know you will bend to their will, and sure enough, they want more. University of North Carolina, a word to the wise. The more you give in to these people, the more they are going to demand. There is no appeasing them. They are megalomaniacal fanatics, and they will not stop no matter how much you give in. There will always be one more thing they demand. Save yourself the headaches and just tell these assholes no. The spoiled little whiners are going to have to learn the meaning of that word someday. It may as well be now. No, we are through humoring your ridiculous nonsense. Don't like it? Go to another school. End of discussion. It's come down to this, folks. We're letting the patients run the asylum. This has to stop. These kids need to learn some of life's very hard lessons. Top of that list is you are not the center of the universe, and you don't always get your own way. Learn to deal with it, you pampered little shits. And what kind of shit is it these progressive twats want? Well, the student cooperative stays silent on no whites allowed student housing. Segregation, apparently. A student housing group associated with the University of California, Berkeley is staying silent regarding questions about its non-white person of color student housing, a facility that one official said is not meant for non-minority students. See, the only difference between this and the previous segregation in America, minorities are asking for it this time. Yep, these geniuses have progressed so far that they have convinced minorities to ask for the very thing whites forced on them decades ago. The very thing Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and all the other civil rights heroes fought against and eventually helped us get rid of. These fucking clowns now want it all back because that is progressive. Seriously, if you're black and you're still listening to these people, I have to ask a serious question. Why? Why do you not see it yet? How far back into the racist divide do they have to push you before you finally figure out who the racists really are? Ask yourself, Who is the real racist? The white guy telling you that you can achieve whatever you want on your own with hard work and determination, or the white guy telling you that you need his help because you just can't do it without him? These people are not the anti-racists you think they are. They are the same Democrats that opposed your emancipation in the first place. They are the same party that opposed your civil rights. They are the same party who started the KKK, burning crosses, and lynchings all across the South. These people have not changed. They still think you are inferior. They still think you need white people to help you. The only thing they've changed is their rhetoric and tactics, and they've convinced you that you need them. You keep them in power by refusing to acknowledge that for over 50 years, their help hasn't helped you at all. It's only kept you beneath them, begging for more of their help to achieve what you do not need them for. They are holding you back, not helping you up. Stop waiting for these supposed white saviors to help you. They aren't saviors, and they aren't helping you. They are only helping themselves by keeping you poor enough to keep voting for them and their empty promises. Throw off these mental chains and help yourself. That is the only way you are ever going to be equal. True freedom means taking responsibility for yourself, not waiting for someone else to take care of you. Okay, I got sidetracked again there. Better give us the toxic masculinity piece, Bob, or I'll just go on babbling about this shit all day. California woman allegedly impersonated cop, groped and robbed woman outside bar. Yeah, look at that picture. That is one angry woman, don't you think? That's not resting bitch face. That's resting psycho face. A Southern California woman is accused of sexually assaulting and robbing another woman outside a bar while pretending to be a law enforcement officer, according to cops. Denise Lata, 54, was arrested Thursday in connection with the September 13th incident. She was booked on suspicion of kidnapping, robbery, false imprisonment, sexual battery, and impersonating a police officer, according to the Orange County Register. She was held in lieu of $100,000 bail. Investigators said Lata walked into a bar in Tustin, approached the victim and a bartender, and showed a badge similar to those worn by police officers. She allegedly asked the victim to show her identification card before grabbing it and cutting it into several pieces. Lata then allegedly forced the woman to leave the bar and told her to put her hands against the wall and spread her feet. Investigators said Lata searched the victim, touching her breast and groin area over her clothes in the process. Lata then told the woman to leave and never return to the bar. According to the Tustin Police Department, Lata was arrested in possession of fake badges, ID cards reading agent, and clothing that said fugitive recovery agent. The department said Lata claimed to be a private detective and bail enforcement officer, but could not prove her claims. Lata is due to appear in court Monday, according to the Register, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but is this article seriously suggesting that women can be perpetrators of sexual assault? Because I was under the impression that only men do that. I thought that's why we decided that sexual assault is a women's issue and requires so much attention, and it could all be stopped dead in its tracks if we just taught boys not to rape. I swear that's the message I keep hearing, and yet this perpetrator is a woman. So, shut up, Bob, I'm thinking. Well, I guess this is about as clear a case of internalized misogyny as there ever was then, huh? I mean, she's clearly doing a bad thing, right? And thanks to feminism, we know that only masculine things are bad things. Feminine things are all good things. Ergo, toxic internalized masculinity. There's no man in this story, but it's still men's fault that women are assaulted because patriarchy or something. Look, I'm still no expert at the mental gymnastics of feminism, but I do try. All right, Bob, let's wrap it up with a laugh. Dems have hard time connecting to voters because they know so much. Harano. Yeah, Harano. That's why voters don't like you guys. You're just too damn smart for us. You, the lawmaker, who's confused by the law. Or did you forget this?
Again, I think we're missing the point. These individuals are there because they have broken a law. There has to be a process.
They have broken a law only as deemed so by the president with his...
No, ma'am. They're there for violation of Title 8 of the Immigration of the U.S. and Nationality Act. Okay, they're U.S.C. 1325. That's illegal entry is both a criminal and civil violation. They are in those FRCs pending the outcome of that civil immigration process. They have broken the law.
Well, these are mainly, my understanding is that under the zero tolerance, these are no longer civil proceedings, but in fact, were criminal proceedings.
They were criminal proceedings when the Border Patrol prosecuted them, but at the conclusion of that process, once the individual came into ICE custody, they would go through administrative proceedings.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Senator Mazi Hirano, Democrat Hawaii, on Tuesday told a conference that she heard one of the reasons that her party has a difficult time connecting with voters is because Democrats know so much and have a tendency of appealing to voters' minds instead of their hearts. Yeah, Democrats are the thinkers, not the feelers. Jumping Jesus, woman. When was the last time you saw anything outside your office? I'm just curious because you are absolutely dead fucking backwards on this one. But we have a really hard time doing that, and one of the reasons, it was told to me at one of our retreats, was that we Democrats know so much. That is true. And we have to kind of tell everyone how smart we are, and so we have a tendency to be very left-brained, she continued. Honey, if you have to spend your time telling people how smart you are, you're not that fucking smart. But, you know, whatever helps you sleep at night. I'm sure telling voters they're all fucking stupid will get you all kinds of support. After all, worked out for Hillary, didn't it? That's it for this week, folks. Remember the social justice mantra: women are victims, men are oppressors, and feminism is just about equality. I'll see you all next time.